The Battle of Chaldiran, fought on August 23, 1514, was a defining military engagement between the Ottoman Empire, led by Sultan Selim I, and the Safavid Empire, commanded by Shah Ismail I, took place near Chaldiran, in what is now the northwestern region of Iran. The battle is often considered one of the most significant events in Middle Eastern history. The Safavids, under Shah Ismail I, were a Shia Muslim dynasty that had established their rule in Persia and Iran, and were fervently propagating Twelver Shi'ism. The Ottomans, on the other hand, were Sunni Muslims and had developed into one of the most formidable military powers of the age. Sultan Selim I had recently come to power and sought to consolidate his rule, while also expanding the Ottoman Empire's territories. Tensions between the two empires had been growing for years due to both religious and territorial disputes. The Ottomans viewed the Safavids' promotion of Shia Islam as a direct threat to the Sunni orthodoxy they championed. Moreover, Shah Ismail I's efforts to spread Shia influence into Ottoman territories, particularly among the Kazilbak Turkish tribesmen who were adherents of the Safavid cause, alarmed Selim I. The Kazilbak posed a serious internal threat to the Ottomans, as they held strong ties with the Safavid regime. This religious divide was compounded by geopolitical concerns. The Safavids were rapidly expanding their influence, and their presence threatened Ottoman control over the crucial trade routes linking the East and West. The two empires were also competing for dominance over territories in eastern Anatolia, Mesopotamia, and the Caucasus. The prelude to battle. In 1514, Sultan Selim I decided to confront the Safavid threat head-on. He launched a massive military campaign aimed at crushing Shah Ismail's forces and securing Ottoman dominance over eastern Anatolia and Mesopotamia. Selim led an army of approximately 100,000 men, which included well-trained janissaries, elite Ottoman infantry, and a formidable artillery corps. Shah Ismail, though an effective leader and military commander, underestimated the Ottoman forces. He relied heavily on his cavalry, particularly the Kazilbak warriors, whose fighting skills had brought him numerous victories in the past. However, Ismail's forces, estimated at around 40,000 to 50,000 men, were ill-equipped to face the technologically superior Ottoman army. The Safavid cavalry lacked firearms and artillery, which would prove to be a critical disadvantage. The battle took place near Chaldiran, in the rugged terrain of northwestern Iran. On the morning of August 23, 1514, the two armies faced each other. The Safavids, with their swift cavalry and mobile forces, attempted to outflank and overwhelm the Ottomans with a direct charge. Shah Ismail led his forces personally, hoping that his Kazilbak cavalry could break through the Ottoman lines. However, the Ottomans, under Selim's command, had a different strategy. Selim I positioned his troops carefully, placing his infantry in the center and protecting them with artillery and janissaries. He had also arranged his cavalry on the flanks to prevent the Safavids from encircling his forces. Most significantly, the Ottomans had an array of cannons and musketeers, giving them a distinct technological advantage over the Safavids' cavalry, which relied on swords and bows. As the Safavid cavalry charged, the Ottoman artillery opened fire, causing massive casualties among Shah Ismail's forces. The janissaries, armed with muskets, provided further support by unleashing volleys of gunfire at the advancing Kazilbak. The Safavid cavalry, though brave and skilled, was unable to penetrate the Ottoman lines. The Ottoman firepower decimated their ranks, and the Safavid forces were soon in disarray. The battle turned into a rout. Shah Ismail was wounded during the fighting and narrowly escaped capture, but his army was decisively defeated. Thousands of Safavid soldiers were killed, and many more were taken prisoner. The Ottomans had not only won the battle, but had effectively shattered the myth of Shah Ismail's invincibility, which had been a key element of his political and spiritual authority. Aftermath and consequences. The Battle of Chaldiran had profound and lasting consequences for both the Ottoman and Safavid empires. Ottoman victory. The Ottoman victory at Chaldiran solidified their dominance in eastern Anatolia and Mesopotamia. Sultan Selim I continued his campaign after the battle, capturing important Safavid strongholds, such as Tabriz, the Safavid capital, though his forces could not hold the city for long due to logistical challenges. Nonetheless, the battle marked the beginning of Ottoman control over large parts of eastern Anatolia, and it secured their influence in the region for decades. Shah Ismail's loss of authority. For Shah Ismail, the defeat at Chaldiran was devastating. Not only did he lose a significant portion of his army, but the battle also shattered his aura of divine invincibility. Ismail had previously been seen as a semi-mythical figure, believed to possess divine protection due to his claims of being a descendant of Ali, the cousin of the Prophet Muhammad. After Chaldiran, his political and religious authority was severely undermined. He withdrew from active leadership, becoming more reclusive and leaving much of the administration of the Safavid state to his advisors. The religious divide. The Battle of Chaldiran also cemented the religious divide between Sunni and Shia Islam. The Ottomans, as champions of Sunni Islam, had defeated the Safavids, who promoted Shia Islam. The conflict between these two sects would continue to shape the political and religious landscape of the Middle East for centuries to come. Even today, the Sunni-Shia divide can be traced back, in part, to the conflicts between the Ottomans and the Safavids during this period. Shift in Safavid military tactics. The defeat at Chaldiran highlighted the Safavids' military weaknesses, particularly their lack of firearms and artillery. In the years following the battle, the Safavid Empire began to modernize its army, incorporating gunpowder weapons into its forces. This shift in tactics would eventually help the Safavids recover from the loss and reassert their influence in the region. Territorial implications. While the Ottomans gained control over parts of eastern Anatolia and secured key strategic regions, the Safavids retained much of their core territory in Persia. The battle did not result in the complete collapse of the Safavid Empire, but it did mark the beginning of a long and bitter rivalry between the two empires, which would flare up in numerous conflicts over the next century. Legacy of the battle. The Battle of Chaldiran is often remembered as a clash between two of the most powerful Muslim empires of the early modern period. It was a battle that symbolized not only the struggle for territorial dominance, but also the deep religious and cultural divides between Sunni and Shia Islam. The outcome of the battle significantly shaped the political map of the Middle East, and its effects were felt for generations. For the Ottoman Empire, Chaldiran was a key step in its rise to become the dominant power in the Islamic world, while for the Safavids, it was a humbling defeat that forced them to adapt to new realities. Despite the loss, the Safavids would continue to rule Persia for over 2 centuries, becoming a major cultural and political force in their own right. In the broader context of history, Chaldiran stands as a turning point that demonstrated the increasing importance of gunpowder weaponry in warfare. The Ottomans' success in using cannons and muskets against the Safavid cavalry signaled the dawn of a new era in military tactics, one in which firearms would come to dominate the battlefield. The battle remains a crucial episode in the historical memory of both Turkey and Iran, symbolizing the deep-rooted rivalry between these two great powers of the Islamic world.